Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Erin and today we have another haul video. Yes, I know, this is like my third one in the span of a few weeks and I don't really want to talk about it because, you know, I don't want to talk about the mistakes I've made. But also, are they mistakes? I'm not really sure. I kind of feel like I did the right thing by buying all this stuff, but you know, potato, potato. I told you guys in my last haul video that I had a bunch of books coming and I wanted to know if you guys would be interested in a larger book haul, and you guys seemed down for it. I hope you guys don't regret telling me that because we have 18 books to talk about. Yes, 18. I would just like to state for the record that I did not buy all of these in one go. These are multiple orders. Yeah, I went a little crazy. I just really wanted to do something for my birthday, and I hadn't bought books in a while, and I felt like I had a lot of books I wanted on my wish list. Why not? You know, just why not do it? You know, why not? Why not? Don't know how long this video is going to be. I feel like it's going to be a lot of talking, a lot of rambling. I'm gonna try to summarize them fairly quickly so you guys aren't stuck here for 20 years, but it might be a long video, so grab a snack. The first book we're going to talk about is probably one that I don't know, am I the most excited for it? Maybe. It is one of the books I mentioned in my most anticipated releases of 2021. That is The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. This book is supposed to be a mix between The Blair Witch Project and Midsummer. I go into more detail about it in that video, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. I have some people say that this is not getting good reviews, which is heartbreaking because I was very excited for this book. But to be fair, I'm still excited because I tend not to listen to other people's reviews. I don't read reviews before I read a book. I might skim some, but I hardly ever really read or watch reviews until after I've actually read the book, because as someone who reviews books on their own channel, I just don't like other people's opinions to sway me. I like to give you guys my first and honest, real thoughts on the book. I haven't read any on this. I've just seen some people tell me that there are some bad reviews, but I'm still gonna hold out hope. Okay, I still think this could be a real winner. Everyone has different opinions, so I'm hoping that this might be just a dud for some people, but a real winner for me, because that's what I'm hoping. So I think I'm going to read this fairly soon. It might be this week's book review. I haven't decided yet because I have a lot of options, but I'm still excited for it. I'm really excited for this one. So next up we have Bloodline by Jess Laurie, I think is how you say their last name. I also mentioned this in my 2021 anticipated releases video. I'm pretty sure I included this one, but it's about a journalist who goes with her fiance back to his Minnesota hometown, and the town just seems really off. There's weird things about it. She feels like she's being watched. Yeah, so there's gonna be some things going on here, okay? There's gonna be some picture perfect town drama, which I love. I think I said it gives me Stepford Wives feels, so kind of has that same vibe. I'm not really sure. It just sounds like that, but I am excited to read this one as well. Yes, I'm excited. This one. So I have heard absolutely nothing about this book. I don't know what it's about. Honestly, I didn't read the plot. I looked at the cover and bought it. So I have no idea what this is about, so I'm going to read it with you. But this is Don't Tell a Soul by Kirsten Miller. I don't know if it's Kirsten or Kirsten. I know people pronounce it differently, so unsure. But look at this cover. Isn't it the most gorgeous cover you've ever seen? Oh my god, I love the colors. Doing a makeup look based on this one will be extremely hard, but also I think it could be really beautiful. Anyways, yeah, let's find out what this is about, because I don't know. So all Bram wants to do is disappear from her old life, from her family's past, and from the scandal that continues to haunt her. The only place left to go is Louth, the tiny town on the Hudson River where her uncle James has been renovating an old mansion. But James is haunted by his own ghosts. Months ago, his beloved wife died in a fire that people say was set by their daughter. The tragedy has left James a shell of the man Bram knew and destroyed half of the house he so lovingly restored. The manor is creepy, and so are the locals. The people of Louth don't want outsiders like Bram in their town, and with each passing day, she's discovering that the rumors they spread are just as disturbing as the secrets they hide. Most frightening of all are the legends they tell about the dead girls whose lives were cut short in the very house Bram now calls home. The terrifying reality is that the dead girls may have never left the manor, and if Bram looks too hard into the town's haunted past, she might not leave either. Ooh, okay, wait. I'm kind of impressed that I got this, and it actually sounds really good. It kind of sounds like a YA. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it kind of gives me YA vibes. So it could be a YA, it could not be, but it gives me that kind of feel. This sounds good. I don't know. What is with me in towns? Like weird towns with like hidden secrets. Because like 3 of these have had towns or villages with hidden secrets. So apparently I'm on a weird town kick right now. So I'm excited for this one. This one sounds very good. I'm kind of glad I bought it on a whim. So this book is The Diner by J.C. Robinson, and I actually won this in a giveaway on Twitter. I follow the author on Twitter. He was doing a giveaway. I decided to enter, and I actually won the book, and I'm very, very excited for this. I know kind of what it's about, but I'll read you the back. The world is a pit of bile and garbage spewed forth by humankind, and no one knows this better than Babs McDale. When unbearable loss enters Babs' life and leaves her with nothing but a roadside diner in the middle of Southern California's high desert, Babs realizes something that changes her life and seriously affects the lives of many around her. The realization: rats don't deserve the good life. Rats deserve to choke on their own blood and feces. Rats make life a living hell for everyone else. In this tale of loss, terror, kidnapping, and moral dilemmas, Babs defends her diner against the rats of this world and works each and every day to teach a little lesson to rats who dare to cross her. But when Babs gets exposed by Sawyer, a customer who is nothing but kind and helpful, and her own employee and good friend, Amanda, chaos ensues. She doesn't want to hurt them because they are not rats. They are good, caring people. But can she risk letting them go, risk allowing them to turn her in? Her work would come to an end, and there is so much more to accomplish. Perhaps there is another option that can save Sawyer and Amanda. Perhaps there isn't. Come into the diner and find out. Ooh, this sounds really good. This sounds really, really, really good. I'm glad I actually won this. That's so exciting. I never win giveaways, so this was a nice surprise, and it sounds amazing. Next up, we have Shelter for the Damned by Mike Thorne, and I believe I saw Alex from the Bookubus on Instagram talking about it. I saw a post where she reviewed it, and it sounded really good, so I decided to pick it up. I really love the cover. I think it's very beautiful. I love the blues. It just looks really eye-catching. And I will read you the back. While looking for a secret place to smoke cigarettes with his 2 best friends, troubled teenager Mark discovers a mysterious shack in a suburban field. Alienated from his parents and peers, Mark finds within the shack an escape greater than anything he has ever experienced. But it isn't long before the place begins revealing its strange, powerful sentience, and it wants something in exchange for the shelter it provides. This is a coming-of-age story, and coming-of-age horror is some of my absolute favorites. I just love coming-of-age stories, and I love it in horror the most. I think it's very... I don't know, it's just something that really grabs me, and I like the emotion behind coming-of-age stories, so I'm very, very excited for this one. It seems like a pretty short read, so hopefully I'll get to it very soon. Next up, we have The Perfectly Fine House by Stephen Kozeniewski. and Wiley E. Young. That was the worst pronunciation I have ever done. I am so sorry. I don't think that is correct, but look at how beautiful this cover is. Oh my god, I love these colors together. I love this cover. It is so beautiful. So beautiful. This one sounds very interesting. It's going to be a haunted house story, but it's going to be completely different than anything I've ever read, which you know I love, but I will read you the back. In an alternate reality where ghosts are as commonplace as the weather, the most terrifying thing imaginable is a house not being haunted. Donna Fitzpatrick runs a surrogacy agency where ghosts can briefly possess volunteers in order to enjoy carnal pleasures. She's also working herself into an early grave, but that's no big deal because death is no worse than puberty. That's particularly evident in Donna's twin, Kyle, a self-absorbed rustabout who spends most of his time high on sage. Kyle's been in arrested development since his motorcycle accident 15 years ago. When Donna has a panic attack, Kyle insists she take a vacation at an abandoned mansion. There's just one small problem. There isn't a single ghost in Jackson Manor. And while an unhaunted house seems no worse than an oddity at first, soon ghosts go missing, natural disasters consume entire cities, and every afterlife on Earth is threatened by the terrible secret behind the perfectly fine house. I think it's so interesting that a book is going to be about ghosts and how haunted houses are very normal and typical and kind of needed, or that's at least how it sounds. I'm intrigued because it sounds very different and the cover is just beautiful, so I'm excited. Oh, let's talk about this beautiful book. Oh my god, it's gonna be horrible to show you with this ring light. There you go. This is Hide and Seeker by Daka Herman. Oh my god, this cover is something magnificent. Holy guacamole. I know I say this all the time, but I don't think I've ever seen such a beautiful cover before. The colors, the freaking art is just stunning. I just love this style. It's absolutely freaking gorgeous. I'm obsessed with this. I can't wait to read this book. Oh my god, I'm pretty sure this is a middle grade book, which I don't read too much middle grade horror, but I would really like to start because I've heard really great things about middle grade horror. But this one sounds terrifying, if I'm honest, so I'm really excited about this. Justin knows that something is wrong with his best friend. Z went missing for a year, and when he came back, he was different. Nobody knows what happened to him. At Z's welcome home party, Justin and the neighborhood crew play hide and seek, but it goes wrong. Very wrong. One by one, everyone who plays the game disappears, pulled into a world of nightmares come to life. Justin and his friends realize this horrible place is where Z had been trapped. All they can do now is hide from the Seeker. Ugh, doesn't that sound terrifying? It sounds terrifying. It sounds amazing. I'm so excited for this one. The cover is literally the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and it sounds so scary. I am dying to read this one. Dying. Next up we have The Push by Ashley Audrain, I think is how you pronounce her name. Like I said, disclaimer, I don't know how to pronounce names at all, so these all might be very wrong and I'm very sorry. But this one I believe is a thriller, and I have heard amazing things about this. People have been raving about this book. I have not heard so many good things about a book in a really long time, so I'll read you what it's about. Blythe Connor is determined that she will be the warm, comforting mother to her new baby, Violet, that she herself never had. But in the thick of motherhood's exhausting early days, Blythe becomes convinced that something is wrong with her daughter. She doesn't behave like most children do. Or is it all in Blythe's head? Her husband, Fox, says she's imagining things. The more Fox dismisses her fears, the more Blythe begins to question her own sanity, and the more we begin to question what Blythe is telling us about her life as well. Then their son Sam is born, and with him, Blythe has the blissful connections she's always imagined with her child. Even Violet seems to love her little brother. But when life as they know it is changed in an instant, the devastating fallout forces Blythe to face the truth. Sounds interesting, sounds very psychological, which sometimes isn't my favorite, but I think this is going to be really, really good. I'm very, 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 very excited for this one. Very. How many times can I say excited? How many times can I say it sounds good? You can count and tell me at the end of the video. Next up we have Good Neighbors. Okay, the ring light. Yeah, there we go. Next up we have Good Neighbors by Sarah Langan. And again, this was in my most anticipated books of 2021. This is going to be another town drama. This is going to be about a family that moves into this new house, and the mom makes friends with the queen bee of the street. They become close friends, but then things change, and that's all I'm going to tell you because one, I don't know much more about that except that there's a sinkhole and the queen bee's daughter falls inside and she blames the other family for it and tries to ruin their life, I think is what it's about. It's what it sounds like. So again, this sounds like Bloodline. It sounds a little bit like Stepford Wives, sounds like people hiding secrets, which I love. I'm very excited for this one. I've heard very, 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 very good things. So I'm more than excited. I'm intrigued. Next up we have The Nobodies by Laurel Elizabeth Hassara, and I actually follow Laurel on Instagram and I saw that she put out a book, so I had to buy it and support her, and it sounds very good. Also, this cover is absolutely beautiful. It's stunning. I love the artwork so much. A lot of these books I'm talking about have really great artwork. But this one says, a woman plagued by the lasting effects of a disturbing premonition, a man seeking redemption after 2 decades of street gang affiliation, a priest gifting religious counsel to a community in moral decline, 6 neglected youths making their getaway in an infamous Dodge van. How does it all come together in the unceasing chaos of poverty? I just stumbled over that so hard. I think it's because I've been reading so many plots that I'm getting myself confused. But it sounds very interesting. It's going to be a really short read, so I'm excited to read this one and check it out. Next up, we have Naomi's Room by Jonathan Aycliffe, I think is how you say his last name. This is actually an older book and a classic, but I've never read it, and people literally rave about this book so much, and I've decided to check it out. I actually got the cover that's not the mass market paperback cover because I don't like the way it looks. So I went with this one, which I don't think is like that much better, but I didn't like the mass market paperback cover, so I went with this one. I know I'm picky, okay? I like my books to have pretty covers, and I'm sorry. This one says, Charles and Laura are a young, happily married couple inhabiting the privileged world of Cambridge academia. Brimming with excitement, Charles sets off with his daughter Naomi on a Christmas Eve shopping trip to London. But by the end of the day, all Charles and his wife have left are cups of tea and police sympathy. For Naomi, their beautiful, angelic only child has disappeared, and days later, her murdered body is discovered. But is she dead? Sounds interesting. I've heard this is supposed to be very creepy and spooky, so I'm excited to read this one and give it a go and see what it's like. Next up is I Know What You Did Last Summer by Lois Duncan. Fun fact, I actually didn't know I Know What You Did Last Summer was a book. I've only ever seen the movie. I really enjoyed the movie, but I didn't know that it was a book. I saw it while I was browsing on Goodreads, and I decided to check it out because I'm a big fan of I Know What You Did Last Summer, so I wanted to read the book and see how it compared. This is actually a YA horror, which I find very, I don't know, odd, because I guess I just didn't think this would be a YA book, because the movie, I always thought the movie was pretty intense, but I mean, I haven't seen it in years. I haven't seen I Know What You Did Last Summer in years. I used to watch it all the time, but I haven't seen it in so long. So, I don't know. I'm intrigued. I want to see if it's similar to the movie, but it says, they didn't mean it, they didn't mean to kill him. There was a party and it was an accident, but they had futures to protect. So Barry, Julie, Helen, and Ray swore one another to secrecy, but now a year later, someone knows. Julie receives a disturbing anonymous threat. I know what you did last summer. The dark lie is unearthed, and before the four friends know it, they need to outsmart a killer, or they will be next to die. I think it sounds good. I'm excited. I really want to read it. I'm excited about it. I'm a little weirded out that it's a YA, but that's never stopped me before. So next up we have Vanilla by Mona Kabani. I told you guys that I was obsessed with The Bell Chime by her, and this is her newest book. It just released this year, so I'm very excited to read this one as well, since I had so much luck with The Bell Chime. And this cover, again, is just absolutely stunning. It's so simplistic and just eye-catching and beautiful. Oh my god. But it says, the cure for the sick is in the devil's blood. He invests this magic in the children. One child's life saved in exchange for a sacrifice. And parents are eager to sacrifice. But what happens when the devil comes across a child he cannot find the will to return? A child he wishes to keep. Vanilla sits in the concrete room, the one she has lived in since she can remember, and smiles when the devil enters. She reaches her arms out, lets him cradle her against his chest, and calls him Daddy. Daddy fills her mind with nightmares of the outside, with all its creatures lurking, waiting to steal her from him, and she dreams of staying with him forever. But forever is infeasible, that is until the devil makes his own sacrifice. This sounds very intriguing. I want to go into it with very little information. I kind of just want to experience it as I experience it, kind of as I did with The Bell Chime. I think that works really well with her writing, is to go in with a very loose idea of what you're reading, because I like to just get her writing like gradually and just kind of experience it bit by bit. The Bell Chime really hit me like in the face when I read it like that, so I'm really excited to read Vanilla and see if I enjoy it as well. This is a chunky girl. It's a big girl. She's very thick, so excited to check this one out. Next up we have The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. Now everyone loves Stephen Graham Jones. I recently read Night of the Mannequins. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I wanted to give him another go, wanted to try out more of his writing, and I know a lot of people love this book, and I've heard really great things about it, so I'm hoping that this one does better for me. There's not a lot to this plot in the cover, which I'm kind of glad about. I like to go in with an open mind, and I kind of don't want to have any connection to Night of the Mannequins, and like I want to dissociate, I guess, from those two, just so I kind of take it differently, I guess, if that makes any sense. But this one says, seamlessly blending classic horror and a dramatic narrative with sharp social commentary. The Only Good Indians follows 4 American Indian men after a disturbing event from their youth puts them in a desperate struggle for their lives. Tracked by an entity bent on retribution, these childhood friends are helpless as the culture and traditions they left behind catch up to them in a violent, vengeful way. This sounds very interesting. Again, I don't want to know too much about it. I kind of want to just go in and figure it out as I'm reading, because I think that's how I will prefer to read his writing. But I'm intrigued. I've heard great things, so I'm interested to see if I prefer this one over Night of the Mannequins. Next up we have Dead Lake by Darcy Coates. You guys know I love Darcy Coates. She's one of my favorite authors. I have a soft spot for her. I just really like the way she writes. It's probably not for everyone. I know a lot of people probably don't like her writing, but for me it just feels so comforting to read her writing. So I'm just trying to bit by bit gather books of hers that I want, and Dead Lake was the next one on my list. So I will read you what it's about. Sam is excited to spend a week at her uncle's remote lakeside cabin. It's a chance for her to focus on her art without distractions. No neighbors, no phone, and only a small radio to keep her company. It's perfect. But there's something deeply unnatural lingering by the lake. It isn't long before Sam realizes she's not alone out here. A tall, strange man stands on the edge of her dock, staring intently into the swirling waters below. At first, she tries to brush off her unease, but unnerving reports begin to surface of hikers missing from the nearby trail. Then he starts to follow her. He disables her car. He destroys her only way to communicate with the outside world. Stranded, alone, afraid, Sam may have become the prey in a hunter's deadliest game. I'm very excited. This sounds like it's going to be different from her haunted house stuff that I've read or from Voices in the Snow and the Black Winter series, so I'm interested to see how I like this one. But again, I'm just slowly trying to get all the Darcy Coates books I can because I just really love her writing. Next up is The Good House by Tananarive Due. This has been on my wish list for so flappin' long. I have heard nothing but amazing things about this book. I just really want to read Tananarive Due's work. I've heard only great things about her stuff, and everyone seems to love The Good House, so it's a big girl. It's a big chunky boy. So this is gonna be a haunted house story. I am trying not to know too much about this one. I want to go in with very little. Like I said, I love doing that, especially with a new author. I kind of just like to not know what I'm getting myself into, and since I haven't really read anything by Tananarive Due, I don't want to know too much about it. All I know is that it's a haunted house story and it has really good reviews, and that's honestly all I need to know. That's all you need to know, okay? All you need to know. Next up, this is a thriller, and this is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. Again, I've heard great things about this story. I have been wanting to read it for so long. I was gonna get it on my Kindle, but I decided to buy the physical copy when I was purchasing books because I don't know, okay? I just decided to get a physical copy. But this one says, Sydney Green is Brooklyn born and raised, but her beloved neighborhood seems to change every time she blinks. Condos are sprouting up like weeds, for sale signs are popping up overnight, and her neighbors she's known all her life are disappearing. To hold on to her community's past and present, Sydney channels her frustration into a walking tour and finds an unlikely and unwanted assistant in one of the new arrivals to the block, her neighbor, Theo. But Sydney and Theo's deep dive into history quickly becomes a dizzying descent into paranoia and fear. Their neighbors may not have moved to the suburbs after all, and the push to revitalize the community may be more deadly than advertised. When does coincidence become conspiracy? Where do people go when gentrification pushes them out? Can Sydney and Theo trust each other or themselves long enough to find out before they too disappear? This sounds very interesting. It sounds like something like Get Out. I think on the back, yeah, it says Rear Window meets Get Out. So yeah, it does kind of feel like a Get Out vibe, which I love that movie. It's fantastic. So I'm very excited to read this one. I've heard good things as well. We've done it. We are on the last book. Are you guys impressed? I feel like I've done this pretty fast. I was trying not to take too long on each book, so hopefully that was good. But the last book we're going to talk about is Wakenhurst by Michelle Paver, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'm still not sure. Is this Wakenhurst? I think that's how you say this title. This how Wakenhurst? Yeah? I think that's how you say it. I don't know, guys, okay? But this says, in Edwardian Suffolk, a manor house stands alone in a lost corner of the fens, a glinting wilderness of water whose whispering reeds guard ancient secrets. Maud is a lonely child growing up without a mother, ruled by her repressive father. When he finds a painted medieval devil in a graveyard, unhallowed forces are awakened. Maud's battle has begun. She must survive a world haunted by witchcraft, the age-old legends of her beloved Fen, and even more nightmarish demons of her father's past. I don't know what that means. I don't know what this means, but it sounds very gothic, and I love gothic horror, so I'm very intrigued by this. It sounds not like something I would typically get, but it sounds interesting. It sounds, it just sounds different. It doesn't sound like something I would typically gravitate towards, even though it is on the gothic side. It just doesn't sound like something I would typically go for, which I think is why I did it. I don't know if that's a good thing or like a bad thing, but that's what I did. So hopefully I end up liking it. I don't know, guys. This haul is very random. You can tell that the books have no rhyme or reason to them. I really just was kind of like, this sounds good. This cover's pretty. Who knows? And that's kind of how I buy my books. I try to make a list of things that I want, but it's really hard, and things that in the moment sound good when I'm going to purchase books don't sound good anymore. So I think that's why I bought so many this time, is I was like, well, all of these sound good, so maybe I should just buy them while I'm feeling it, and then, you know, then it won't happen to me later. I don't know if that actually makes any sense, but that's kind of what I was like thinking. That was my process. But yeah, this is the biggest haul I've ever done. You will not see this again probably. I will not do this again unless I wait months and months with multiple orders and then just do a huge haul at one time. But this will not happen again. 3 hauls just like back to back. This is not going to happen again, I promise. Please don't be mad at me. You guys said you wanted it, so I do what you guys want to see, so hopefully you aren't too upset with me that this was a lot of hauls in a span. But it was my birthday recently, so I feel like you guys will let it slide just once. But I typically don't buy this many books in one go. I think my usual order is like 5 books at a time, just because books are expensive. And I change my mind fairly quickly on books. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm going to try to work through all of the books I now have. I have a book cart here. I have all these books. So we're just going to try to not buy for a hot minute, okay? We're going to try that. We'll see how long I last. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. It lets me know what kind of content you enjoy from me. That way I can keep providing you with that kind of content. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We can become friends, talk about books, movies, makeup, horror, all kinds of things. I do a lot on this channel, so hopefully there's something for everyone. And with that being said, thank you for watching to the end of this video. I know it was a big one, so thank you. I hope you guys are having a really great day and a really great week, and I will see you guys on Friday for Book Review Friday. Bye!